So I can't believe I've left the lovely weather behind in the southwest of the island today, and I've come over here to Sineu to come and check out this beautiful old town and the market which takes place every Wednesday. Now the weather isn't great today, so in this video we're going to see if this market is worth visiting. Even if the weather isn't great, we're going to see what it's like. But also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, because I am going to be heading on in the direction of Camp Picafor and the Playa de Morro. Those videos are going to be coming up, but I can just feel the rain starting, so let's quickly get round and have a look at Sineu Market today before the weather gets even worse. So as I drove into Sineu this morning, you can see the clouds over the old town, and well, this is an absolutely beautiful place. I haven't been here for absolutely years, and I certainly haven't been here for the channel either. Also, it wasn't immediately obvious where to park either as I came on into the old town, but there's a free parking spot right at the bottom of the hill. So I've just walked up here right into the centre, because the market is in the area of the little church here. So this really does remind me of Santanyí Market, but not quite as busy. And there are just some lovely galleries as well around here too. Look, just check this out, look, right up ahead of me. And I have turned left here, and I will plot my route in the description text below so you can see where I've gone on this walk today. And there are just lots of these really gorgeous little shops here, look. Just check this out. Let's keep heading around. Look, lots of locally made products here. Look, €29 woven bags. I always recommend picking one of these up. Now, I have come here more or less at the end of the market. I'm here for the final hour, and as I noticed when I visited Santanyí Market, it's actually better to come almost at the end of the market after the crowds have visited, and well, this will give you a better idea as to what it's like too. Look, once again filled with authentic little shops here. Now it's so bizarre, look, the sun has come out, but you can see it's still raining. It hasn't deterred visitors today though. And the fact that this sign is in English says just about everything. Because Sineu Market is one of the main sightseeing locations for the centre of the island. I'm just taking a very quick look left here. Look, more stalls wrapping their way around. Down to this lovely seated area here, look. And looking out over what is a very, very large market. Now, I am very surprised by this. Look, we've got ponies at the bottom. I think they've got some pony rides there for holiday makers, but we've got a whole swathe of stalls in this area. And just looking around here, look, I'm just to the left-hand side of the old town and the church. This is a really lovely day out here. Now, you can appreciate that people are starting to pack up. I'm a little bit late to the party, but I didn't want to get caught in the crowds this morning coming over here. And well, the weather was looking even worse actually this morning. Look, check this out, look, what a lovely stall here full of locally made cheeses, sausages, fouettes. And just look at this absolutely wonderful ceramic stall. I mean, look, this is beautiful. This really is beautiful. I have to say, I actually have this mug. See this multicoloured mug here? I have one of these at home. And they last really well too. But I didn't pay €9 for it. So I'm suspecting that because of the popularity of this market here, prices may well have been inched up. Obviously, this is a very, very popular tourist market, but €9 for a mug. But then again, it is handmade, and look, we've got all this other pottery here too. And as the rain falls here, look, it's not deterring anyone. Got plenty of cafes as well. Look, lots of people sitting out in the cafes, even in the rain. And of course, Sineu Market has proved to be a magnet for holiday makers. Over here today, when the weather has not been fantastic, when it hasn't been fantastic this autumn, this October. I mean, I can't believe the weather we've had, particularly over in the centre and the northeast of the island. Now the sky is going dark, And look, we're just coming up to the kind of like garden area as well. Love to pick up some plants today, but I won't because, like I said, I'm going to head on hopefully to some sunshine in the resorts. And look at this, look, I'm just at a little bakery stall here, look. Ensamadas de Mallorca, look, nice little local pastry here. We've got various cakes. Oh, that looks delicious, look, an orange cake as well. And look, buñuelos de Mallorca as well, little donuts. Absolutely delicious. So I've just bumped into a lovely holiday maker over here who is visiting from Puerto Poyensa. He's on holiday over in Puerto Poyensa. He also can't believe the weather that we have over here. Didn't want to point out it was actually sunny Palma Nova way, but anyway, that's a chance that you do take with weather at this time of year. And absolutely tons of food stalls as well. Look, got the roasted nuts and the dried fruits too. So let me know in the comments, have you visited Sineu Market and how do you get here? Do you bring a hire car over and where have you parked? Let us know in comments. Like I said, I got very lucky here today, finding a parking space right on my entrance into the old town. I'm pretty sure that's not where the majority of people are parking, but let us know in the comments how you get here and where you park. Oh, look at this, look, this is all really lovely stuff, hey, look. Really lovely traditional products from over here in Mallorca. You've got everything from olives, from sauces, spices, and look, there's even more to it. And this market just keeps on going as well. It really wraps itself right around the bottom of the old town. So one thing I can see here is that a train line runs through Sineu. So this is going to be fantastically connected from various areas of the island. So from Inca, it might be worth getting the train down here from Inca. And also there are going to be loads of buses as well making their way here. I think parking, like in many of the old towns over here in Mallorca, is going to be an issue. So if you are visiting, then try and get public transport here, even if you are parking over in Inca and getting the train. So just turning back in the direction I've just come from, look, you can see the Old Town Church, almost where we started this video. I'm going to head on back up, but well, the rain really is pouring down now. It's absolutely chucking it down. Let's head on back up in the direction of the church. My car is parked over there. Let's go and see if there's anything else to Sineu, but I have a feeling I'm going to have to hot foot it back to my car. What a day to come, of all the days to come. I will come back here on a much nicer, sunnier day. We're going to see what else there is to Sineu Old Town. And also if it's maybe worth visiting on a non-market day. Who knows, quite possibly. And one thing's for sure, on a day like this, all the cafes can be super busy. That just feels like today couldn't get any worse. I mean, I'm loving the fact that people are still sitting out and eating in the rain. Absolutely loving it. And also that the stall holders are trying to keep some stalls open as well. Many have given up for the day now. They're starting to pack up. Look, there's even more down here too. Loads of stalls, loads of stalls. There's a QR code that you can zap with your phone. But look, the earliest remnants of the market are believed to date back to the Islamic era, as Sineu stood out in the important agricultural area, and the market was a centre for weekly gathering of what the Arabs called, I can't pronounce that, Sukalarabra or something. And this turned Sineu into a thriving town where merchants, traders and artisans with a large line of Muslim gardeners gathered to exchange goods. And there's a little bit more to it as well, look. Feel free to pause the video and have a read. But today you can see how popular Sineu Market has become and of its importance to this wonderful old town. And as I say in all my previous videos, even though it is raining, don't worry too much because, well, the sun does come out eventually. Although it's barely come out in Puerto Poyensa over the past few days, but just look up ahead of me, look, we've got blue sky, which is fantastic to see. Anyway, come on, let's take a quick look around the rest of Sineu. We're going to quickly walk around the centre. So I'm loving this, look, holiday makers huddled under umbrellas with food. What a beautiful sight though. It's still really beautiful. This old town is just lovely. It really is lovely. So we came down from the right hand side. Going to keep heading on in the direction of the church. I can imagine in the summer how busy this is. Actually, let me know if you came here on a very packed market day during the hot summer months, or whether you prefer to visit on a non-market day. Look, got a nice little bar here. Look, go and pick up some tapas. Look, chicken wings, €6, croquetas, €6, patatas bravas, €4.50. Nice little place in there. And there are loads of these dotted around the centre. And check this out, look. They've come out right outside the main church here, into this little courtyard. Even up the steps here, look, got a few stalls around here too. And here's something that you never see either. Look, an open door on a church. Is there a service going on? Quite possibly, but it is open. If you're here on a Wednesday, then you can maybe go and catch a service. Look, entry through the other door. Should we go and have a quick look? We're just coming round the centre here, right around the side of the church. It's going to bring us into even more of the market. Look, and to the entrance of the church too. So that's actually really nice to see. So many of the churches are closed up in the towns actually. Every time I go to any old town, it seems that the churches are closed, but not this one over here in Sineu on market day. Now look at this. One thing I do like here on the market stalls over in Sineu is that they have put prices, and look, we can see how much things cost. The one thing I really didn't look like over at Santanyí was that there were no prices on the fruit and veg on the market stalls that I saw anyway. And here's something I never see, and that is salted cod. It's quite popular in dishes over here. It's a way of actually preserving the fish. I remember seeing that when I used to go on holiday to Portugal as well. Look, and we've got all the olives too. Look, another market stall, look, with prices on the fruit and veg. But not all of them have prices displayed, even though it does look quite pretty over here. My recommendation is to maybe shop where the locals go. And look, got the same bars as well lining this little marketplace. Also something to do on a rainy day here. Look, we've got wine tasting here in this little bodega. I mean, how fabulous, how absolutely fabulous. And I think there's been really good take-up today of the wine tasting, not surprisingly. And look, this is no good for me today. Just taking a left out of the marketplace here, look, you can see it turns very, very residential. But look up at the houses here, look how old they are. I mean, this is wonderful. Look, I'm right in the shadow here of the church. Just got to explore these old towns if you're over here for the day. Anyway, I'm going to head on back in the direction of my car. Let's keep going round. And look, more absolutely gorgeous little shops here. Look, little boutiques, lots of handmade products. And if you don't want the wine, look, there is a ice cream shop too. So, interestingly enough, there are quite a few restaurants that aren't actually open today on market day. And I'm just looking over here at the Bella Sineu. Look at this, look, Wednesday, market day, it's closed. Thursdays it's closed. This may be one to try on another day. Just have a quick look at the menu here. Is this worth coming back? What have they got here? Let's have a look. Usual salads, arts and Italian. Look, they've got pasta gnocchi, pizzas from €9.90. Might also help if I just show you the menu in Spanish. I don't know how good it is. Let me know if you have eaten here. It looks like if you're going to enjoy this, you're going to have to come on non-market day. Okay, so just coming back around the side of the church here, feeling a little bit busy in this area with these narrow streets, but that's the only kind of busy experience that we've had today in Sineu Market. It feels a lot less packed than it does over in Santanyí. Maybe because we're at the end of the season. Maybe it's a lot more busy than this in the summer. There's a very, very busy little bar here. It sounds lovely, got some nice music playing. Lots of queues for the really popular places here. And I'm back to pretty much the point I started when I joined the market, which must mean my car is back in the other direction. I know what I'm like for losing my car. And thank goodness I mentioned that I've walked up Carrer de la Creu as well. So let's head back down this way. And I'm pretty much back where I started, right at the front of the market. And I can't believe the weather that we've had in this video, but I have to say I have been pleasantly surprised by Sineu on a Wednesday on market day. What an absolutely lovely experience. Now this has been entirely different from my experience over at Santanyí Market. If you want to check out that video, check it out here. But I have to say also that I've not been here for about 18 years as well. So I think my excitement for coming here is just simply because of the feeling of newness too. Anyway everyone, I'm off to Camp Picker 4 now. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If that video is already published, I'll drop it in the description text below. In the meantime, don't forget you can join me on Facebook and on Instagram, also called Mallorca Under the Sun, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Goodbye for now.